Hi, it's Ian, and welcome back to my 30 Days of Taiko Skills. Today is day 16, and I'm talking about the Time Guru app. This is one of my all-time favorite tools for practicing, and I highly recommend it to anybody practicing music of any kind. It's especially great for drummers because the whole idea of this metronome app is to help strengthen our inner sense of time and consistency. So I will show you a little bit about the app and how I use it in my practicing. So here is the interface on my iPad, and it looks a little bit different on a smaller device like my iPhone. It looks slightly different, but basically the idea is that you have a way to select various meters and different combinations of meters. So since I do practice odd meter quite a bit, uh, I like the availability of different groupings that I can just hit. For example, right now there's just a 4/4 meter selected here, and under the 4 is the quarter note symbol, so it's just saying that you'll just hear 4 quarter notes. Okay. If I wanted to erase that and maybe practice in 5, all I would have to do is swipe down and then hit the number 5, and then we'd be playing in 5. Okay. If I wanted to play in 9 and the grouping that I wanted was 5 plus 4, then I would just hit a 4 again, and now there's a 5 and a 4 next to it. So you're getting this 5 measure of 5 plus measure of 4. So you can see how you can create almost any combination of different rhythms, um, or different meters and different kind of combinations of how you would divide up a certain meter. If you're playing in something like 11, for example, you could choose various different combinations on how you want to think of that one bar of 11, for example. You can also uh, hit the bottom and change the value so that you can make, here's a dotted eighth note, triplet, eighth note, 16th note, quintuplet, sextuplet, 7, half note, and so on. And if you tap the number, then you can turn it into a rest as well. So very customizable. That's what I really appreciate is that there's probably almost no uh, type of combination of meters and groupings that you couldn't program into this. And it's very user friendly. So quite intuitive. Right below it is the main feature of this app, which makes it so great. It's the random mute feature. So right now it defaulted to 50% random mute, meaning that um, when I start playing this, 50% of the beeps will be randomly muted, meaning that you'll have to make sure your sense of time is solid enough that you don't get thrown off when you don't hear the beeps. So right here it says gradual on. That means that when you hit play, it will take a certain amount of time until gradually it will get to 50% of the randomly muted beats. If you have it off, that means right from the beginning, randomly 50% of the beeps will be muted. This gradual duration, you can choose from 15 seconds. Right now I had it to 30 seconds. It can be 1 minute or 2 minutes. So pretty good range of options on that. 50% random mute. If you're used to playing in that tempo and in the style and the meter, it might be not too bad. If you're not used to this, or you're trying in an odd meter or something, that might be quite difficult. So you'll have to experiment to see. Maybe if you're not used to the random mute idea, or you're practicing something that's not quite as comfortable, maybe dial it back down to start with something like 20% or around there, 10%, and gradually work your way up. Um, Something like in 4, I might be able to crank it up for my own practicing to 80 or 90% random mute. I might feel pretty comfortable with that. But if I'm practicing something that's quite challenging and maybe has a complex meter with different groupings, um, or especially if it's a slower tempo, I may need to dial it back down. So this is very customizable, and that's why I really, really like how simple it is and all the options you can get. Below this is the tempo. Right now it's set to 90 BPM. You can use these arrows or just slide it up and down. You can also tap in your tempo, just like almost any metronome app. You can use the tap feature. Right here in the bottom is the play, and then you have a pretty big selection of different kinds of sounds. Right now I have it set to clave, but there's quite a few. There's been a lot added since I started using this app a long time ago, including voices: female voice, male voice, robo voice, Chinese, French, German, Russian. Not sure why there's no Japanese. That would be my one ding against this app. Why not have Japanese? I may be biased though. So a lot of different sounds to choose from. I like clave because it comes out pretty clearly against the practice pad sound. You can also save your presets. So I've done this a lot where I'm working at a certain tempo. Maybe I'm practicing to be proficient at improvising at a certain tempo and a certain meter. I'll program that and then I'll save that so that I can just go to it every time and just practice that one exact purpose, that song. So let's try this in action here. I will leave the gradual random mute on, just practice in 4/4, and give you a little sense of what it is like to play along with it. One thing is that you do see the beats going down, the numbers. So if you really don't want to cheat, if you want to make sure that you're not using a visual cue to keep on track, then you could dim the screen, you could cover it up, you could look away, whatever you have to do. I just usually just keep it and don't look at it and look away, and that's fine for me. But maybe in the beginning, if you're not quite comfortable, you might use that as a kind of an aid to keep you on where it is. But anyway, I'll play a little bit just as a demonstration of how I would practice with this. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of how just now I had left it to the 2-minute gradual, the duration for the gradual adding of the random mutes. So it took a little while to get there. Normally I would go shorter, maybe 30 seconds is what I would normally choose. But I could tell that at a certain point, I was trying to challenge myself to try to play something that felt a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe some of the roles I was playing was slightly, it felt a little bit fast at this tempo. So as a result, there's a couple times where I was not quite on exactly. And you can tell that sometimes the random muting means that um, there's muting in between beeps, and sometimes there's a lot of beeps followed by a lot of muted beats. And of course, those are the more difficult ones. But at this tempo, I feel okay, and I might boost it up to like 60 or 65 percent random mute next to see if I can challenge myself more. And by doing this consistently, especially if you choose a certain tempo just to practice every single day, you'll notice a big difference in how consistent you become at uh, making sure that you keep track of where the beat is. And then whenever the beat drops out and it comes back, you're either rewarded because you're still on, or uh, you're being told by the metronome that you have to do a better job at keeping the tempo steady internally. So it's a very simple concept, simple metronome app, but it's pretty amazing in what it can do. And it's really helped my development as a musician over the years. So I highly recommend it for any level musician on any instrument. So that was a little bit about this great app called Time Guru, and I will see you on the next one.